Robert is sitting on his couch watching a movie. The main character steps into the street. A car suddenly comes flying straight toward him, but instead of jumping away, he freezes. Robert has seen this scene 100 times, and every time he wonders why movie characters suddenly become so stupid the moment danger shows up. So, what if I told you this reaction isn't stupid at all? Freezing is a real survival response, and in the right situation, standing still for a second may have been safer than running. To understand why, take Robert back a few 100,000 years. He's moving through the wild. Then he hears something in the bushes. A branch snaps. Then silence. Something is there, but Robert doesn't know what. He doesn't even know where. And that makes running risky. Running creates noise. It makes him easier to notice. But there's an even bigger problem. The moment Robert runs, he has to choose a direction. And if he gets unlucky, that direction could be exactly where the predator is waiting. So the body can buy itself a second. Movement drops, attention narrows. Robert becomes still. Animals still do this today. A rabbit hears something and stops. A deer spots movement and locks in place. They aren't necessarily giving up. They may be trying to stay hidden while figuring out where the threat is. But here's where freezing gets weird. The body doesn't just stop moving. The heart can actually slow down. That sounds completely backwards. Robert may need to sprint in the next few seconds, so why would his heart slow down now? Because freezing is not relaxation. The body is still on high alert. Threat-related brain systems are already active. One important region is the periaqueductal gray, or PAG. It helps coordinate defensive responses. During a freeze, movement can be suppressed while the heart briefly slows. So Robert ends up in a strange state, ready to act, but not acting yet. Think of a car at the starting line. The engine is on, the brake is down, and scientists wanted to know whether that brake actually helps. So they built a threat experiment. A person appeared on a screen. The participant knew there could be danger, but they didn't know what would happen next. For a few seconds, they waited. Then the person reached for something. Sometimes a phone, sometimes a gun. Phone meant do nothing. Gun meant react fast. In the high-threat condition, a mistake could be followed by an unpleasant electric shock. But the important part was the wait. Before anyone knew what would appear, the body started to freeze. Movement dropped, heart rate slowed, and in brain scans, the PAG became more active, so the body looked still. But it wasn't shutting down. It was preparing. Then, the gun appeared. And here was the surprise. More PAG activity during that freeze was linked to faster correct responses. Less body movement was also linked to quicker action, so freezing wasn't necessarily wasting time, it may have been part of getting ready. Stop. Figure out the threat. Prepare, then move. For ancient Robert, that first second could buy something valuable. Information. Where is the danger? Has it seen him? Which direction is safe? The freeze gives the body a moment before it commits. And that worked much better in a world where threats were often hidden or uncertain. But now bring Robert back to the street. A car is coming straight at him. There's nothing to locate, nothing to identify. The danger is obvious. The correct move is obvious. Get out of the way. And this is where an ancient defense system can become a terrible match for a modern threat. The body doesn't have a special traffic mode. It uses much older defensive circuits. Circuits that can start reacting before conscious thought fully catches up. So for a split second, the body may still hit the brake, even when the situation demands immediate movement. And one important thing, this brief defensive freeze is not the same as the more extreme immobility that can happen during overwhelming or inescapable threat. The brain has several defensive states. Freeze is only one of them, which means the characters Robert sees in movies may not be as stupid as he thinks. Sometimes the body simply reacts before the conscious mind has decided what to do. Freezing isn't always the moment your survival system stops working. Sometimes it may be the moment it starts preparing your next move. The problem is that an ancient response doesn't always fit a modern danger. And that's how a system built to keep Robert alive can leave him standing still at exactly the wrong moment. If you want to keep uncovering the ancient logic hiding inside everyday human behavior, subscribe and watch the next one.